Ooga Booga Beras. In this Alpha Pack interview, I have the honor of hosting Berasearch, a very special Bera who is deeply involved in the Berachain ecosystem. We will be discussing his journey, the projects he's part of, as well as NFTs and meme coins on Berachain. Please note that the discussions presented here do not constitute financial advice. We urge our listeners to always conduct their own research. Our content is designed for educational purposes only. Now, please join me for an insightful conversation with Berasearch. Berachain is known for its closely knit but very open-minded cult-like community. How do you think the unique cultural dynamics will shape the evolution of Berachain, particularly in ways that might not be seen in more established projects? And are there any meme-worthy moments from the community that stand out to you?
Oh, I love this question because I'm a big believer, and I think one of the things that's really interesting about Berachain is that the kind of cult-like community and the way it's grown, um, in
Right.
particular, because I think one of the reasons Berachain is where it is now is because it started as a little cult community a long time ago. Um, and so I describe the kind of the Berachain community as, or ecosystem, as kind of an expansion or like an exponential expansion of what happened initially. So I think like one thing that's really cool about crypto on the whole is that there are lots of places where people find, I guess, a feeling of belonging. And I think that kind of started in Off Topic, which then split out into the kind of the Bong Bears and what they became. And then because the team didn't rush anything, which is a crazy sentence in crypto, I feel like we're used to instant gratification timelines. They gave that community time to grow, and then that spun off things like Bearland and Honeyjar, and then following that, we've spun off all these other projects that have built their own communities. So we have this fascinating ecosystem where we have fully fledged communities without a chain, which leads to the classic gag of, and probably the biggest meme of the whole thing, which is the chain's never going to launch. Um, and so
Yeah.
I joke about it, but I do love to occasionally call it the greatest social experiment in the history of crypto. Um, I do
Yeah.
think it will launch at some point because I back the founders in, but I like that as a meme. Um, it's coming in Q5.
Uh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like it, and I also remember, let's say the early days when everyone is saying, "Is Berachain even real?" Right? Like, is it even a real project? Like, who's the people behind it, and so on. And I think we are past behind this meme a little bit, right? Like, we obviously know there are like tons of people involved, so many projects launching. So it's Berachain is definitely real. Now is the question, obviously, as you said, when it's going to be on mainnet. But let's talk about Berachain and the other projects you're involved in a little bit later. Let's start this with Can you tell us a little bit more about your own background and your personal journey into crypto?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, my journey into crypto was much the same as a lot of people. I found out about Bitcoin. I found out about Ethereum back in like 2017, 2018. Thought they were pretty cool. Started doing some research into them, and so kind of came in through that very, I guess, kind of traditional pipeline. Moved into kind of learning more about smaller projects. Started doing some community management, and through that pipeline, ended up eventually working full time in the space. Built a couple of cool things that I was pretty proud of, and then yeah, towards the start of this year, I found myself at a point where I was taking a break, and I went, oh, what do I want to do next? Um, and I went, oh, I guess there's this chain with bears on it that a friend of mine had told me about, kind of 6 months before, kind of 18 months ago now. And at the time, I looked at it and went, oh, this looks silly, um, and oh, how wrong I was. So earlier this year, I started looking into it again. And I'm a big believer in when you kind of enter any space, but in particular when you enter a blockchain space where it's often very transactional, people are very like kind of keen to come in and take what they can and then leave again. I wanted to show that I was there to just bring value for the sake of bringing value. And so, kind of using some skills that I've built up previously, started breaking down projects and posting it on Twitter because I went, well, I'm going to learn. So why don't I try and help other people learn as well? And
Mhm.
thus Berasearch was born.
Interesting. Yeah, very cool, very cool. So that's also my understanding. Like your name, Berasearch, sort of indicates that you are doing research, right? And you also like if I think about Berasearch, I think a little bit about like let's say like if the threat guy in the Bera ecosystem, or the guy that is like deeply in the trenches of Berachain, right? So is that like a fair yeah? Is that like a fair description?
I mean, I try to be in the trenches. I think I objectively lose track. I think I've covered over 100 projects that are kind of building on Berachain now, which is a ridiculous sentence. Um, but yeah, I definitely have to be in the trenches. I was talking to someone earlier in the week, and the way they described it was they really appreciate what I've been doing because I spend time to highlight projects that don't necessarily get highlighted in other spaces. And I think that was a really good encapsulation of kind of what I'm trying to do. Is there are people build lots of the time there are people building cool things, but they're kind of off to the side, or they don't have the access that maybe other more experienced builders do. So trying to highlight them in ways that and like, uplift people who are building cool things, to give them a little bit more airtime and just let other people see the cool stuff. Never shilly, just like here's what they're building and here's how it works.
Yeah, absolutely, and I really think that you are sort of providing added value, and like give people like the information that they need without like shilling a project or whatsoever, right? You just like try to educate. That's the word I was looking for. And yeah, it's kind of what I'm also, or what we are at Stakecito also trying to do is like, we want to talk to founders, to other projects, and really understand, build relationship, collaborate, and so on and so forth. So yeah, really cool. You also have, I think, a couple of different hats on within the Berachain ecosystem. So maybe can you tell us about your involvement at Ramen Finance? Like, give us maybe a brief overview of what Ramen Finance is.
Yeah, of course, of course. So Ramen Finance is going to be probably the main launch pad on Berachain when it launches. So Ramen is designed to help projects launch their tokens in as simple a way as possible. Yeah, launching tokens is a big part of any project, and it's really important. Lots of people argue it's kind of the most important thing you do when launching a project. So Ramen's just designed to make that as simple and straightforward for a user and a project as possible. So on the project side, it's all about how we handle helping you through from airdrop all the way through to your token generation event. And then on the user side, just about making it really simple and easy, um, and also a little bit of fun, hopefully. But simple and easy to get into and find out about. The bit I'm really passionate about is like learn about these new projects who have built really interesting things.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, Ramen Finance was actually the very first interview that we did on the Stakecito podcast for the Berachain ecosystem. So for those of you that don't know Ramen Finance and want to learn more, definitely check out the interview on our YouTube. But yeah, regarding Ramen Finance, like what are some of the most recent things that are going on Ramen Finance? It's just like I'm just curious myself, like because the interview that we had is already I think like 3 months or more than that ago. So I guess they're like sort of ready for mainnet, right? And they were working on airdrop recipes and many different things. And even like one interesting thing that I saw is they have a collaboration, if I'm not wrong, with Sprout Gremlins, which is like an NFT collection in relation to this, I would say, very successful meme coin on Ethereum, actually, which is called Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Eno. Am I right about this? And what is like sort of the partnership about?
Well done. I'm actually being able to pronounce HPOS 10's name. That's an achievement. I think lots of people messed that up the first time out. On the ramen side of things, yeah, getting ready for mainnet. Airdrop recipes are nice and ready to go. Building out kind of, we're at the stage where we're building out some fun little bits and pieces behind the scenes. Um, can't tell you too much more about anything that would be going on with the Sprotos and blockchain. That's still on the DL on our end. But yeah, it's very much the prep for mainnet, lining up launches and getting kind of figuring out what our launch calendar is going to look like, so that we could do the best to support as many projects as possible who want to go live early on.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think Ramen Finance already partnered with the tons of projects. So I guess as soon as like Berachain Mainnet is live, like there will be a lot of projects and tokens launching through Ramen Finance, which is pretty cool. So apart from Ramen Finance, I've also seen that you very recently, I just think like less than a week ago or something like that, you announced a new project, right? It's called BGT Market, and it seems like you're part of the core team. And I think also Ram and Pola, who are interviewed here, right, is also involved. So maybe can you tell us what is BGT Market for?
Yeah, so BGT Market is basically we built it because we're really excited about proof of liquidity. And one of the key kind of sticking points for some people around proof of liquidity is that BGT, the native governance token, is soulbound, which means it can't be traded. You can only obtain it by providing liquidity in the ecosystem. But the issue that this sometimes also means, though, is if you get BGT and you don't want to provide governance power, you don't want to play in the governance pool, all you can do with that BGT is redeem it for Bera, one for one. And so we went, oh, well, how can we keep this BGT in circulation without increasing the Bera supply? And so we built this thing called BGT Market, which lets you buy and sell BGT for Bera in Dutch auction lots. So a Dutch auction is where the auction starts at a price and then ticks down until someone buys it. So for us, every lot of 100 BGT starts at 690 Bera because we're in Berachain and everything has to have a silly number attached. And so it ticks down from there until someone buys it. So basically, this platform is designed to let you contribute your BGT if you're a smaller player. Say you've made 1 to 5 BGT, you can drop them into lots and off you go. That will then sell for X amount of money. And then if you are someone who wants to participate in governance, you can now purchase BGT off the market and use that to play around in the governance field. So basically, BGT Market lets you do everything that the BGT station does, but then also has an added auction buy and sell function on top of that.
Okay. I'm very interesting. So from my understanding, BGT is like this governance token in the Berachain ecosystem that can only be earned through like proof of liquidity, right? And now you're basically saying that it can be bought as well with Bera through BGT Market. Do I understand
Yeah,
correctly? Or?
yeah. So basically, it's kind of like a pressure release valve is how we're looking at it. So we're thinking that we would like to capture, a small portion of the BGT supply. So it won't be everything that is tradable. Because to
Mhm.
trade BGT through BGT Market, you need to claim the BGT into BGT Market rather than into your wallet. So the difference thing that we do there is you claim your BGT into the BGT Market smart contract, whereas in
Mm.
other
Mhm.
contexts, you've been claiming directly into your own kind of wallet that liquidity is attached to. So if
Okay.
any BGT that's claimed outside of BGT Market can't be traded in BGT Market, so not everything is going to be tradable. But if you're a user who claims into BGT Market, then that's tradable BGT.
Okay. Got it. Interesting. Yeah, that's very cool. So what's sort of the timeline, or what's the status of BGT Market? It's right now on testnet live, I guess, right, for people to play around, or?
Yeah. So it's bgt.market. It is live on testnet. People playing around. We've got almost 40,000 BGT deposited in there on testnet, which is pretty cool. So I
Mhm.
think it's up to like number 95 or 90 for wallets with the most BGT in it on testnet, which is a stat that I am enjoying watching. Yeah, basically the plan is in the foreseeable future, we're going to add in incentive distribution, so validator incentive distribution when that goes live, so that users can receive their portion of validator rewards.
Mhm.
And then once that's in, we'll be largely feature complete and excuse me, aiming to go live basically as soon as mainnet's ready to go.
Mhm. And what do you exactly mean with validator rewards? Do you mean that validators will partner with BGT Market and there will be a pool that sort of where the validators redirect some of the BGT incentives towards BGT Market, or what do you mean specifically?
I mean, that would be a great idea. But I was talking specifically, definitely not thinking about that at some point.
Mhm.
I was thinking specifically about validated commissions, which again you would probably be more across than I am, given that it's really your playing field there. But yeah, one of the
Mhm.
last. So kind of going broader on the testnet scheme of things, is one of the last things that lots of people have been waiting for is validators have the opportunity to pass on some of the incentives they earn to their users who have delegated to them. And currently that's not live in the BGT station. So
Mhm.
that's one of the last pieces lots of testnet users have been waiting for. And I'm saying this not because I don't think you understand it, but probably because it's helpful for
Mhm.
listeners. Um,
Mm.
yeah, and so once that's live on BGT station, we're planning to then integrate that in. So basically, like I said before, you can do the things that you would do on BGT station, but you can just do them in BGT Market.
Okay, okay, understand. So basically, you would do like governance stuff, right? And then you could also like have a certain kickback to your own loyal delegators, let's say, and give them a certain percentage of the commissions back.
Dead on.
All
Yep,
right.
perfect.
Yeah, nice, nice. Very interesting. All right, cool. And then you also have another project. Let's just call it a project. I've seen that you launched your own NFT collection called Searchies on Kingdomly. Is that correct?
Yeah. So project is a strong term, but yeah, launch the non-fungible searchies as a bit of a highlight on Kingdomly's new marketplace. So we launched them on testnet. They're going to stay on testnet. They're just a bit of a fun way for people who have been really involved in testnet to, I guess, like, celebrate being involved in that, have a bit of fun with that. And yeah, for a few people, make a decent amount of testnet Bera, which has been cool to see. Yeah, not going to mainnet, no actual utility plan for them whatsoever, but just keeping them simple on testnet. And I think people have enjoyed that, which has been really cool to see.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. I unfortunately missed out the Searchies. So I know it's not mainnet. It's theoretically not real money in that sense. But if I want to get a Searchie, where do I get a Searchie now? Is it still possible? Can I just buy them from other people with testnet tokens?
Yeah, so they're purchasable on Kingdomly's marketplace. So if you go into
Mhm.
Kingdomly marketplace and then you connect to the Bardio testnet, they'll pop up there as one of the kind of most traded collections. They've been sitting there for a little while now. They are still very expensive in the terms of testnet Bera. People like the cheapest one at the moment is 3,200 Bera,
Wow.
which is
Yeah.
a little bit silly, but yeah, they're still in high testnet demand, so you can buy them, but it's gonna hurt your testnet wallet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know where to get 3,200 Bera tokens from, to be honest. I have no clue. Maybe you can gamble and win some on Yeet or something like that. Uh, but yeah, that's very cool. I mean, we also had Kingdomly here on our channel, and I believe the last time we talked, the marketplace was probably not live yet. I think it was just a launch pad, and I think they were basically working on the marketplace. So the marketplace is fairly new, from my understanding, then, right? And you were sort of stress testing it, basically.
Yeah, essentially. So the marketplace went back live maybe almost 2.5 weeks ago. Um, yeah, it's looking clean. It's working well. Aggregates kind of other marketplaces as well, so you don't have to go somewhere else to get access to Magic Eden bids or OpenSea or anything like that. But yeah, went went live with, I think it was the Roots Satori collection, and then the non-fungible searchies came out the next day.
Okay, okay, very interesting. Yeah, let's maybe talk a little bit about Berachain itself, and let's maybe try to give our users and listeners here some alpha around Berachain. So basically, yeah, since we already talk about NFT collections, could you maybe tell us what are some of your favorite NFT collections on Berachain, and which are maybe some of the collections that people should pay attention to?
I think when it comes to NFTs on Berachain, I think this is a broad umbrella thing, but it is the same as any other like kind of chain or any other thing, which is if you're interested in a project and you're interested in what they do and they have an NFT, then you should do some research on whether that NFT is, the way that you want to get involved in that project. I think from a practical perspective, we've got a lot of NFTs that are very simple in Berachain. A lot of buy this, get a token down the track. One from a kind of design perspective that I think is really interesting is the Booga Beras, because their whole pitch is this idea of bringing validator revenue and validator TVL from other chains into the Berachain ecosystem. And so by running the Booga Beras team, who also run Ramen Finance, are going to be running. I've already started running validators across other chains and are working on kind of redirecting that value back into the Berachain ecosystem, which I think is really interesting. And a thing that we're going to see, I think, more and more protocols that are starting to think about how they can essentially bridge TVL over. Another protocol that's thinking about that is Bakeland, who are a bit newer. They are building a game which is going to do some really cool omni-chain stuff, designed to kind of set up other chains against each other, so that they war for the Bakeland. But yeah, I think it's kind of all comes down to Berachain, which I think, overarchingly comes back to that idea that holding your liquidity and bringing liquidity to Berachain can be really beneficial for both the chain at level, but also for your project too. And so even if you're running stuff on other chains, I think we're going to start to see more protocols go, oh, wait a minute, but I could make a little bit more if I have this, or I could do some cooler stuff if I have this on Berachain. So I'll use that as my. People talk about it as the Dinero guys like to talk about a yield base plate. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Berachain start to become a bit of a yield base plate in DeFi as other people build around that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and I sorry. I also see more and more projects basically coming over to Berachain. For example, there's Stride, which is basically the largest LST protocol in the Cosmos ecosystem, and they recently announced, to launch their own LST, or to launch basically LSTs on Berachain now. So I definitely see this trend, and as you said, there are a lot of. What's interesting about the Berachain eco is definitely that there are a lot of projects that have their own NFT collections, right? So it's like some of them, before even launching a token, they already have their own NFT collection that you can purchase, play around with, maybe have some sort of utility or some sort of benefits later down the road. So yeah, that's a very interesting phenomena, to be honest. But let's maybe try to give our viewers a little bit more alpha. So I think when it comes to NFTs, I think a lot of people. So a lot of people on Berachain obviously also hope for the Bera airdrop some point, right? When mainnet goes live, and there was this speculation that holding NFTs might qualify also for the airdrop. So what is your opinion on that? Should people buy NFT collections in order to qualify for the airdrop? Should people just be testnet users, or should they be doing both? What's your opinion there?
I to be honest, on the NFT front, I have never it's all speculation, right? It's all a guesswork. And if people want to bet on that, I respect their desire to do that. But in my opinion, it's making a calculated gamble, I guess. And so I don't really go around going, oh, you should buy the Bera NFT collections, because I don't really like telling people to what financial choices they're going to make. That's why I came at it from the research angle. But on that note, if you are someone who is looking for that sort of thing, I would suggest reading up on the request for proposal program that the Berachain team have run. I say this because every team that gets a request for proposal, so there's kind of a couple of types, but applications were able to do a request for application, an RFA. And if they receive an RFA, they have to distribute a portion of that, so kind of 10 to 15% of that to testnet users. So I think so most of those teams will have already submitted snapshots but some of them will resubmit those because they're allowed to do it. They have a little bit of flexibility in when they can resubmit those. So when it comes to kind of small allocations that are around, there is some potential around the RFA stuff. That's we don't know. We don't know numbers. We don't know anything like that. But there is some stuff project by project, which is available for users.
Interesting. To be honest, I wasn't even aware of that there's just this portion, or where it says that a certain percentage should be allocated to testnet users. I mean, that's obviously that it means there is some hope for testnet users as well. I mean, I personally I don't like those like, let's say, those farmers or those bots or whatever that, just click on random applications the whole day to qualify for the airdrop, but more like people that try to provide some valuable feedback and like educate the community and stuff like that. And obviously, like, also when it comes to buying NFTs and hoping for an airdrop, as you said, it's quite a gamble. Maybe this will be part of the allocation or eligibility later, but also we don't know, and you don't want to end up like spending, I don't know, thousands or maybe tens of thousands of dollars, which probably not many people are capable of doing, and then just to hope for an airdrop. It's like, if you like this collection, if you like the community, you could get an NFT, and then if you get an airdrop, that's nice to have. If not, like, don't expect too much, right? So yeah, that's very interesting. And another topic that I think where Berachain fits in very nicely is actually this whole sort of meme coin topic, or sort of like culture topic, right? Because nowadays, like, meme coins, they are literally they're taking over the mind share of crypto people. And yeah, what is your general opinion about meme coins? And also, are there any meme coins on Berachain? Because I think I've seen some people talk about it, but I'm not like sure whether I know that there's anything launching right now, or launchpad for meme coins or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't get meme coins. I try to. I feel like I should be able to figure them out, but I don't understand them fully. I think someone described them to me recently. Someone on Twitter didn't describe to me directly, but made a comment about we can now kind of monetize anything, and I think that's like probably the best description of what a meme coin is that I've seen. And I think, yeah, again, you can make a comment on whether that's a good or a bad thing, but it's happening, that we can monetize anything in existence. And so that's kind of the current state of meme coins. In the Bera world, there's a couple that are going to be ready to launch early on. So Bera Doge is one that's been around for a long time in the Berachain ecosystem. Um, you can probably figure out where those two parts of the name come together. And then the other one that you have probably heard, it's probably, if you've heard about meme coins in the Bera ecosystem, Henlo is one that is going to be launching pretty early on, I suspect. They are, yeah, incubated by the Honey Jar, so one of the biggest kind of noise making entities, and kind of, I think they're technically a venture studio in the Berachain ecosystem. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what they pull off there, because they love their mimetic marketing there. They're very good at getting things in front of people. So yeah, I think it'll be very interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I read somewhere that people kind of considering to use the ticker Ooga, or to use the ticker Booga, right? maybe maybe that would also be a nice meme coin. But yeah, on your first point, I totally agree. Like, meme coins feels like it's like this meme, or this topic that we had for many years, like this tokenization of everything, right? It sort of seems like that meme coins allow you to tokenize, topics, news, celebrities, certain events, stuff like that. And sometimes they are very short lived. Sometimes they stick around. right? Right now we have this meme coin, like, or this meme of peanut, right? Like sort of peanut that got murdered in the US a couple of days ago. So basically you sort of can tokenize anything, and it is sort of a meme or a subject or part of a culture or something like that. And I definitely think or can see that Berachain will also be like a perfect place actually for launching meme coins. Also, just because like on EVM land or on Ethereum mainnet itself, there are also a few successful ones. But the problem is always obviously like the gas fees of Ethereum when the chain is very congested, can be very expensive to buy those meme coins. And I assume on Berachain we won't really see that problem. And do you know by any chance where is there like a place where those meme coins would launch, or will they just use like existing smart contracts and just like probably launch a token by themselves, and then one day you will see it listed, let's say on Kodiak Finance and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think I have a little bit of a joke with some other founders in the ecosystem saying, "Oh, another pump.fun fork on Berachain. I think we need one of those." There's a few launch pads. I think kind of the prominent ones for me on the kind of very easy to deploy token launch pads would be the Panda Factory from Kodiak, which is coming soon. It's in kind of testnet. Well, it's like private testnet at the moment. Meme Swap is another one. I think they have an interesting UI and they do some funky stuff there. The Bera boys are building what they call the Bloomberg for meme coins. So it's rather than competing directly as a launch pad, they're building kind of a layer that sits over the top of the launch pads and gives lots of information there.
And
Excuse me.
so do you this project is called Bera Boys, or like what's the name of the
Yeah,
project?
so the project is called Bera Boys. They started as an NFT collection. They were one of the first collections on the first Bera testnet, I think. Um,
Hmm.
so they launched NFTs there, which have since moved over to I think it's either Arbitrum or ETH mainnet. Um, and then off the back of that kind of little community they've built there, they're branching out to build a DeFi platform as well. I
Hmm.
would
Hmm.
I'd also like throw on the end there as well. Honeypot Finance also have a meme token deployer which works a bit differently than the others in that users, rather than buying the token on the launchpad, buy vested LP tokens,
Hmm.
which I haven't it's something I haven't seen done very much before. So very interested to see how that's going to work out.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, there are more places than I actually thought. I mean, I wasn't aware of most of them, to be honest. And what about Ramen Finance? Like, could Ramen Finance also be a place for meme coins?
Yeah, so we're probably not going to focus on the meme coins there. Probably going to focus on like I guess larger cap, really like yeah, projects that are kind of looking to do more complex distribution, or looking to partner with more teams, or looking to launch at a bit higher FDV, that sort of thing. Then meme coins, which can sometimes come out at there's $1,000 in a liquidity pool or $50,000 total in the value. So yeah, not. We also work really closely with Kodiak, who obviously are launching the Panda Factory. They're one of our key partners when it comes to deploying liquidity onto the chain, and so we think they do a really good job at the meme coin side of things. So why would we? Yeah, there's not. We're not in the business of competing with partners on that front, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it also does make sense, like to copy other projects and have like, as you said, 10,000 times the pump.fun. But I definitely think that Berachain is like the perfect place for its own meme coin season. And yeah, I will be definitely like deep in the trenches for the next probably a few weeks, or as soon as like we know when the mainnet date is, in order to be prepared myself, to purchase some of the very first meme coins there, because I personally I sort of like them, right? It's like it's not like the biggest share of my personal portfolio, but I think it's also like meme coins are fun. They're like just like they take over the current mind share of crypto people, and so why not just be involved a little bit? And yeah, So, all right, talked about meme coins. Yeah, I do think I just have like one or two questions left from my end. Yeah, so what is? I think you already gave the answer at the very beginning, more or less. But what is your prediction about Wen Berachain Mainnet this or next year?
Am I talking with my feelings or with my head? That's the question. I think so. I would love it if it was this year. That's the feelings answer. With my head, I think the one thing that I've seen kind of from the team is that it's going to come when it's ready. I don't think we all would love it to come earlier, but I don't think anyone wins if it comes out before it's ready. And so I yeah swing between I want it to happen tomorrow and going, well, if it happens tomorrow and it breaks within 5 minutes, you only get to launch once. So I'm looking forward to the team launching it when it's ready. Hopefully it aligns with when my feelings want it to be.
Yeah, absolutely, and I definitely agree with you. Like, you want to make sure that like it doesn't break the moment it launches, or like something goes wrong or something like that, because that usually doesn't put a good light on all the all the hard work that has been put into it. So better be prepared than be sorry, so to say. But let's just take the answer that Berachain will launch in Q5, and then whatever that means, we'll see.
Perfect. Yeah, Q5 2069, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, I loved it. All right, man. Yeah, I think I've also seen that you started your own X Spaces recently with a few more people. Is that right?
Yeah. We're it's the Bera spaces. So
Mhm.
I've been running that. We're 3 weeks in now with Icy Bera from Baritone, and with Janny the janitor from Honey Jar as well.
All right, all right. Yeah, I've listened to the most recent one a little bit, so that's definitely cool. And I would love to see like more Berachain X Spaces, to be honest. Maybe there are some, and I just don't see them that much. But like, I think people, it's the best time to get like to spread the word. Like get the word out and also represent your own project, especially in preparation for mainnet. And it's just so much fun hanging out in those spaces and like listening or talking to people that you know. And yeah, so I will definitely keep an eye on your spaces as well. Yeah, very cool, man. I think I'm through all of my questions. Is there anything else that you maybe want the Stakecito community to know? Any things that are coming up for you or your projects or something like that?
I mean, apart from the fact that they should all be Ooga boogering and enjoying things in that regard. Nothing else super big coming up in the foreseeable future. But yeah, the Bera Spaces 2 p.m. UTC on Tuesdays.
Mhm.
I think one thing I would love to say for the Stakecito guys is on the BGT market side of things, always super open for feedback and loving to hear from people. So if people want to give it a try, would really love to kind of see what they think, hear what they think, see if they have any suggestions for where we could go. And then yeah, I love my Ramen Finance. So if anyone wants to jump into that community, I think Norrell, who's one of the founders, is one of the best community builders around. So if people just want to come in and vibe in the Ramen Finance community, we would love to have you there too.
Absolutely, and I will make sure to leave all the relevant links in the description. And yeah, definitely check out BGT Market. And yeah, how do or where and how can people find you?
I'm a simple bear. I can be found at Berasearch on Twitter. So Bera and then search, not Bera research, which is how lots of people read it, which I think is fair because it is kind of it is a smushing together of those two words. I
Right.
also have a website, berasearch.com, where you can just track all of the kind of stuff that I do on Twitter. Keep track of that. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's me. I'm nice and simple.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Berasearch. Really appreciate you coming on and giving us all the alpha and insights into the Bera ecosystem. And yeah, maybe we can repeat this once more once mainnet goes live in Q5. So yeah, thank you so much for your time, and Ooga Booga.
Ooga Booga, sir. Thanks so much for having me.